These are the meditations of Kantes on today's meditation, chosen ones. It's quite important, first of all, like, share, and subscribe. I always say that part at the end of the video. But chosen ones, it's I don't know, maybe in the future, as the world continues to elevate into the 5D world, there'll be schools that teach what I'm about to teach, because it will be clear that the matters of the heart are what really matter. This is within, the next 3, 4, 5 years. It's crazy to think that in 4 years we'll be in 2030. 4 years. Ni next year too, but it's like next, ikifika 2028 next year but one, tutakuwa tunasema ni next year but one, unaona. So it's the new world is right here. We are barely even a quarter in to the 21st century. Okay, this is just the beginning parts. So magnetism, if you're a chosen one, you know about magnetism. And magnetism is not just something about manifesting a lover, sexual partners, riches, fame, accolades, whatever you might think. Magnetism, before you even go into trying to attract anyone or attracting anything, is really a responsibility. It's an incredible responsibility for you to understand magnetism, to either possess it. Most of the time, you as a chosen one are incredibly blessed with the gift of magnetism, okay? While others need to go and learn about this concept of manifestation, you as a chosen one, many times throughout your youth, throughout your childhood, infancy even, you came across the power of magnetism. It was either, you thought about something that morning, then immediately you got it, or you were thinking about someone, immediately they called, and it didn't just happen to you in a way that you labeled it as a coincidence. You were almost wanted like a lighter. Imagine like a lighter. I have a matchbox right here. Imagine like a lighter that you're trying to turn on, and it turns on. For most, that is it. They assume it as a one off affair. But for you, if you're a chosen one, this is what you did. You noticed it and you kept on turning it on, turning it on, and it didn't turn off. It didn't turn on when you expected. It was just random until you know yourself. Now is when you can begin to turn on that lighter and it is consistent. So magnetism for you, you understand outside just the basis of, attracting things. You understand how difficult it can be to be incredibly magnetic, because magnetism is light, okay? And when you have, you understand anything about magnetism, it can be quite a burden for you to, move around when you're so attractive and magnetic. You need to understand the power that it brings, but also the responsibility. Like the uncle in Spider-Man. With great power comes great responsibility. I always end up mentioning that. With great power comes great responsibility. So magnetism is incredibly amazing, but it can be quite difficult, because sometimes you know, as a chosen one, sometimes you want to go into your own cave, and somehow even there, where you think it's just you, yourself, and you, then somehow you start, drawing in people unconsciously without even wanting to, interact with anyone. But it is love. It is love. Magnetism is love. It's just a connection to the one flow, because all things are just of the same things. Everything is just made of the right original substance. So when you understand magnetism, it's just you connecting into that one flow, and then it's like picking a hand in a dark, picking something in a dark room. You already know what you want. It's there. It's just a matter of connecting with it. Okay, and once you connect with yourself, then it becomes easier to connect with it, and it becomes easier to even anticipate. Now, of course, I've gone into a rant about magnetism. How does it relate to my life, or your life? For example, like I'll be somewhere, like I'm just sitting like I am right now, and then it's like a crowd. It's incredible. I know. If you're a chosen, you know what I'm speaking about. Okay, you can be. Sometimes you're so in your head, you're not fully aware that you're not thinking now. As you continue to mature, but you're not necessarily thinking that you're very different, until you come into contact with people and now you're reminded again. You're like, oh, okay. Because your magnetism causes such an incredible attraction and repulsion. But even those who are repulsed, they are repulsed by their own dissimilarity to you. Do you get what I mean? You see? So those who are repulsed by you, they are repulsed by them, their own selves, not meeting up to you, you know, whatever standard they assume you meet. You know, of course, a chosen one would not be a chosen one if he competed with anyone but himself or herself. Every chosen one is his own universe, is his own expanse, infinite space. Okay? So magnetism is, is quite profound, you know, especially when, even when you attract others, sometimes they might be attracted to you, but they are slightly pissed that they're attracted to you, maybe because they wanted to be attracted to someone else to the level that they are to you. So they're so drawn and attracted to you, but maybe because of your external, how you look, they're like, how can this be the person, the person that is keeping me up at night? You know, so their attraction is based by their own shame. So an experience that they were supposed to have, you know, just naturally, they now begin to shame themselves. So, oh my chosen, you are infinite. Okay, you are infinite. It is the power of love. Okay, it is the power of love. Some, you know, they are attracted to you, but they are beholden to their little manipulative games. So they don't know how to experience what they like and what they want without that aspect of manipulation, you know. So they're like, they want to deal with you, but they don't know, they've never ever dealt with anyone who was genuine, okay, who didn't want to take anything away from them. In fact, what they experience, what you give them, the experience that they have with you gives them more, gives them something. So they're almost in gratitude that they've met you. They were like moving in the dark, then they meet you, even if it's just across the street, it could be a conversation. They meet you and they are almost like, wow, you know, you're an experience. So the attraction is like, what is that, you know? It is curiosity, and it can be curiosity like a like the needle trying to play with a puffed up balloon. They don't know how to deal with you without popping you. Can I repeat that? They're like a needle with a, and you're like a balloon in this sense with love. You're just overflowing with love, and they're a needle. Or they're a porcupine. Okay, they're a porcupine, and they want to befriend this balloon they've seen, and as they want to experience it, the only way they know how to do is turn it off, man. That's all how they know, it's to turn it off. They cannot deal with you any other way. They must first change themselves in order to become similar to you or have some type of similarity, and then they can then, you know, come into union with you, which is just more communion with their selves. You know, everywhere is God. You know, even your enemies are God in a sense. That's why you send them love. Okay, but it requires. I'm so glad that despite my, you know, you always are a bit, well, especially when you awaken, you're always a bit taken aback by how asleep you are and how unaware of how incredible you are. You were just, and that maybe that adds on to your authenticity, chosen ones. But you know, you can sometimes be almost pissed that how could you let this happen? How did you not see that? You know, opportunities slipped you by or whatever. You know, it's infinite opportunities. That's the first thing. So it will just roll right back again. This world is just the same cycle going again. That's how we can be able to predict many things. Okay, especially in the long run, it's easier to predict things that will happen 10, 20 years, but things that will happen within the next week, you can't. Okay, so continue to understand the necessity of your magnetism. Okay, it's really an education, chosen ones. Once you awaken and move away, because it can bring you so many things. It can also make it very incredibly difficult for you to move away from love, because the power of magnetism that you've been able to generate means that if you are involved in a negative thought, it can really, you know, not that take you down, but if you are like, if you think about something, you have the power to instantiate it into your life. So it's incredibly important for you to just keep on moving in love and continue to educate yourself about magnetism, okay? With great power comes great responsibility. You know, who would have known that you being in love would have made so many people want to take you down, you know, because your existence is proof that whatever life that they are living will never reach the level that you are living, because you operate out of love. Without love, everything would fail. Have you seen that beautiful butterfly? Orange one. There was a white one that passed by. They've been, you know, they might be my gang stalkers. They might be the gang stalkers. But they've been, you know, blessing me with a beautiful view here. But educate yourself more on magnetism. Who would have known? You know, sometimes even though I can, you know, I've encountered this, the other side of operating out of love. You know, I've been exposed to hate many times this morning. I say, many times just this morning, and you know, I know how to handle it. It is nothing but the same thing. It's just a mirror in any show minimum normal. So it doesn't matter who does what doesn't go my way. It is no longer just frustration or anger or confusion. I told you, self awareness is the greatest gift. Nothing will beat self awareness. Okay, and you now being self aware that you have this gift of magnetism. Uh, and forget being a gift, you have the mentality and character to bear it. Hey, 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 hey. It is one of your most powerful it is a blessing, not the gift itself, because gifts quickly turn into curses. Let me repeat that. Gifts quickly turn into curses if your character is a curse itself, because the character is the alchemical whatever who you are inside, you know. And we'll speak about that many times in these videos. I barely go a minute without repeating that your character is everything. But you know, you're doing well so far, chosen ones, especially if you have not just watching. I know I have many people watching. If you're able to digest, you know, because you will come and you'll see my video today, then you'll see another, you will see it again, and then it's another thing you've been educated on. You know, I'm an ocean just like you, infinite. But if you've been able to decipher what I mean when I say that, even when people, your magnetism makes people repulsed. Some people incredibly repulsed by you, other people attracted to you, and the ones that are repulsed by you are repulsed by themselves. You know, because you are a mirror as well. Okay, so the same way they are, you are able to see how incredible you are because of their, you know, encountering them. They are able to see how low just of themselves, not anyone else. I told you, don't compete here. The chosen ones are they live in the creative world. Cine number 10, cine number 10, cine number 10. You know, number 10 is the, if for those who don't know, number 10 in soccer, football, is the guy who creates. So that when I'm saying cine number 10, cine number 10, of course, an original track from your sexier temper. But you know, say Martin and Zakuisha. So let's end this video. 14 minutes, not too bad. You know, I know it's been a while, but take care. Continue to educate yourself on magnetism. Adios.